Hi guys, welcome to my one. Is this going to be just a one-off quick show after Arsenal's abysmal performance last night? Yeah, and just a few things I want to just rant about and get off my chest. So let's find out what I've got to say, and yeah, uh, basically be a lot of counselling session. So, like I said, this is sort of my reaction video to Arsenal's performance last night against Aston Villa. Another home defeat. Um, and this is just putting it mildly. I think it was absolutely disgusting performance by Arsenal. And so many things to question, so many decisions gone wrong. And yeah, but while I'm doing this, let us know your thoughts and views onto this subject. Hopefully, I can get some Arsenal fans onto the channel to express how they feel about it. And yeah, for me, I'm tired. I am tired of seeing performances like this. And I thought we had turned the corner going to like Man United, and yeah, just hang on a second, and yeah, just sending the link, and I will put the link in the chat as well. Yeah, so whilst I quickly do that, the link's in the video description anyway. But what I'll do is I'll put it in the chat as well. So if there are any Arsenal fans or even opposition fans who just want to come on and like banter us, right, by all means. So yeah, Connor, how are you? Please, Connor, if you wanna, there's the link here. Come on the show, and yeah, I'm still fucking fuming over that result. It's been over a day now, and I'm still fuming. Right, the team selection was wrong. The way we played was wrong. Um, Moe's like to see Stephen Özil was laughing at Arteta. Do we miss him or not? Well, you could say at the minute we're lacking creativity. So you could make an argument that we are um, missing him, right? But would he make much of a difference, right? Way even when before he got that massive contract, we didn't know whether he was on or off, and will he make much of a difference? Don't know. But before I start also actually ranting about this, I will quickly show you again the Just Giving page link. Uh, yeah, here we go. Paste that in. Could you please donate what you can to this great cause? I've raised £750 so far. We're £250 away from £1,000 for Children's Disease Foundation. It will go to treatment, support, respite. Please donate what you can. I know money's tight a minute, but please do what you can. And Connor, you're on. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm. Like I said, I'm still fucking fuming.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, you got a right to be.
I mean, that was actually disgusting. That
Yeah.
performance. I could be attached to my fusion pump and I'll still be fucking better. Right? Um. But yeah, how's things with you? How's things with you? You're a QPR fan, aren't you?
Yeah, well, we lost on the weekend. I prefer not to talk about that, but yeah, it's I don't know. It's a mess at that club as well at the minute. So yeah, but Arsenal, I don't know. Worst £15 I've ever spent. Um,
Do you know what? When I said that I hadn't spent £15, I was lying. I did.
mm,
Do you know what? That's twice I've done that now. We've lost. It was Leicester as
yeah,
well, right? So Arsenal owed me 30 quid for that performance. That's right. But more for me.
mm,
Um, but it's just too negative.
mm,
It's too negative. You're playing at the Emirates. You're playing at home, and no disrespect to Villa, right? I've had a good start to the season. The last couple of defeats have been defeats.
mm,
Um, and yeah, we should have been going in there thinking, yeah, right, we take it seriously and we'll outplay this lot. But within
mm.
40 seconds, right, if it weren't for VAR, within 40 seconds, we would have been 1-0 down. And we
Mm.
just never clocked on. Um, I
I mean,
don't know
there's
what
no
you make
style
of
of
it.
play. There's no style of play. You're not getting the best out of Aubameyang. Lacazette isn't good enough. Willian ain't good enough. You can make a case for Holden not being good enough. Bellerin was getting turned inside out. Tierney wasn't his best game. It's just I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Arteta wants to improve the defense. I understand that. That's your weakest point, but it's taking too much away from the attacking point of view. But then the defense, look at the mistakes that they're still making. So you know,
Yeah, it's like probably Gary Neville said at one point, some of these players are uncoachable, right?
mm,
And I get that, right? But I mean, the only best defender we had out there was Gabriel. But what
mm,
can he do if the two beside him are shit? But if you're playing at home, you should not be able to. Why are you playing 3-4-3? Well, you're
mm,
basically playing five at the back,
exactly.
right? And like, why isn't Pepe starting? Pepe look like you can only go on how good um, the opposition is in your next game, and he's scoring probably got what the most goals at the minute.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yet Willian gets in the Premier League games, and Pepe for some reason gets dropped. I mean, does Willian have nudes on fucking Arteta or something? I mean,
I,
seriously.
well, from what I've heard, apparently it's experience, and you got to remember that Willian is Arteta's buy and Pepe was Emery's buy, so he would favour
I'm like
Willian.
stating the obvious.
Mm,
But yeah, I mean, another case is Maitland-Niles. The only time I've seen Maitland-Niles this season is when he's played as a left back. We all know he's played himself as a right back.
mm,
So why the hell are we doing that? Why are we persisting with some? I mean, the second goal, Nketiah's covering the right back position, right? So he ain't gonna cover that defender, right? He's a kid and he's a striker. There's no way he's gonna be defensively set, right?
mm,
Bellerin's not even the same picture.
mm.
So something tells me he went off to go to the cameras to get a selfie. Right, just make sure my shirt's tucked in and everything.
Mm. I think I was speaking with Claude and I said, in terms of the striking department, I think Arsenal should have gone for Cavani. I think that's what they should have done. I know, people could say he's past it, but he's a goal poacher. He knows, when to get into the box. He would have been on a free transfer. So instead of getting another winger in Willian, maybe get Cavani. That's a possible suggestion you could have looked into if.
Mm. I mean, Gal, what do you make of this?
Look, I'm still kind of upset, but I've thought about it and I've sat down, and I feel like it's very reactionary. It's very
Oh my
reactionary.
god.
Like Arteta, everyone's saying Arteta out. All these people blaming Arteta for everything. What you have to understand is the
Well, I'm
man.
sorry. No, you've got. I'm sorry, he got that wrong completely.
No,
I'm
no, 100%. You can criticize
we
him.
shouldn't play. We shouldn't play 3-4-3
No, no, no.
at home.
You could criticize him for the performance, the way we played, the way he set up. He got it wrong. But what I'm saying is, here's where I think it's wrong. I think the players should deserve some criticism. I feel like till now people still say we don't have a good enough team to get top 4. So when we drop points against teams like Aston Villa, even though it's very shocking and it's not good, at no point should we be losing to these guys. But at the same time, have the same energy for the players. Have the same energy for the people who are misperforming. Have the same energy for everybody else. The man literally just came in 6 months ago.
Well, Gal, you know me. I mean, Gal, you know me, right? And I want to give Arteta. You know me. I want to give Arteta a chance, right? And some of these players are from the old regime where, like, they score a goal and all of a sudden edge drop, right? So, I mean, it's like I said with Bellerin, right? Bellerin, why isn't Nketiah covering Bellerin's man that he needs to mark for the second goal? Why? I mean, it's for me. Players have to look at themselves, as well as the manager also has to look at himself as well. Right? It's a mixture that it's like kind of with what Man United is at the minute. It's a mixture of the two. Right? And I think I first originally thought it's Arteta being so paranoid about the defence because he doesn't trust it, which I can get because our defence is shocking. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether I'm in or out or like shake it all about. I don't know.
What I'll tell you is, I think you're in the same position as a lot of fans. A lot of fans are in the middle. They can criticize, but but at the same time, you don't have to pick sides. There's not a side to pick. I feel like at this point, what it is a lot of people are confused. They have mixed feelings about how we're playing, and they don't know who to blame. So the easy person to blame is the manager. At the same time, don't forget this was the same guy who we were gassing, getting super hyped about because he's put some respect on our name. We were going out and playing teams and not getting smoked. But on the other hand, Stephen, we've lost to Liverpool, we've lost to Leicester, we've lost to Man City. Those 3 teams are teams that people would say they expect us to lose to. Let's be honest. Even though Leicester, we should have beat them. They expect us to lose to those teams.
Well, I expect us to win because they had the injuries where they had when I looked at it. So, I mean, I'm sort of with the feeling that I want to give like I said, I want to give Arteta a chance. I want to see. I always thought originally when we got Arteta originally, I thought it could work in terms of stabilizing the ship, right? Because we were sinking, and I mean sinking. And now whether he's the right person, and after the FA Cup final, yeah, I was like, yeah, maybe he could be the one to take us forward. But I think the board also probably have to look at it as well, because in that transfer window, I don't think he was fully backed up either. Why are we going for Partey
in 11 months, he's gotten us an FA Cup. He's beaten United twice. He's beaten Liverpool 3 times. He's beaten Chelsea City. Out of the top 6 teams, we've barely beaten them over the past couple of years. He has under his belt 7 wins out of top 6 teams already. Okay, you can criticize him, but still put some respect on his name. He does not deserve all this hatred and vitriol that people are giving him. It makes no sense.
I understand why people may want Arteta out. I mean, I think if in an Arsenal perspective, you know, you'd want him to succeed. He played for the club. He was a great servant for the club. You want things to work out for anyone who's in charge of that club, you know, whether it's Emery, Wenger, or Arteta. But the thing is with Arteta, he's been there nearly coming up to a year now. 11 months, 10 months.
11 months.
No style of play. Okay, 11 months. No style of play. You're still playing 5 at the back at home against teams like Aston Villa. You're not scoring enough. The defence has got better, but there's still plenty of mistakes. That team that he has now was better than what Emery had, but people would still slate Emery if he was doing what Arteta was doing. That's where the criticism comes in. Not the fact
I'd
they hate
also
Arteta.
say at the minute, I would actually say at the minute is that if we said we went all out and we didn't get top four because there were teams that were just better than us, because my target is I want to get back in that Champions League, and the reason for that is because next transfer window, Kolasinac, Staffy, all these deadwood players on the last year of their contracts, which is around about 600 grand a week. How they earn that much, I don't know. Right? I wish I earned that much to do fuck all. Right? But all of them are going to be out the door. So we tried to do it this window, and it's clear to see why no one wants them, because they're not good enough.
The club offers them a new contract, like they offered Mustafi a new contract. We're screwed. Screwed.
Are you really saying that Mustafi deserves another contract?
They gave him a new contract, and he turned it down. Thank God.
Yeah. But I mean, the only piece of paper they should be getting in is not another contract; it's a P45. Right, and that's where I want to see Arteta, because along top of that 600 grand a week of wages, he's going to get a certain amount of money in terms of budget, and you can adjust that to maybe saying having over 100 million to spend, something like that. Yeah. So that is where it would be most key. And if we're not in Champions League, right, we haven't got the pull probably even that Man United would have. If Man United really wanted a player, they would just do it, right?
Look, they were in Europa League and they broke the record before Neymar got transferred with Pogba. So when you think about it from that perspective, it's not comparable. Let's not compare ourselves to Manchester United. Let's look at it this way: we did decent business, spending 70 million on Partey and Gabriel combined. Where we messed up was the year before, spending 72 million on Pepe. That is what still is hurting us, because it's a deal that as long as he does not perform, it will hinder us as a club.
But then we're not playing him on the pitch, and if you you see him in Europa League, right? You're only good as like the team that you can only be as good as like what I just said with Connor, is that right? You can only be just as good if he's as the opposition in front of you, right? But even when he came on against Sheffield United, he turned that game round. So why is Willian starting ahead of Pepe? I don't get it.
1 second. People are saying they want Arteta out. Do you honestly think Arteta's going to get sacked tomorrow? We're going to get a new manager the next day, and we're going to start winning?
No.
So what is it? What is it that you think is going to change getting Arteta out? Because we all agree Arteta doesn't want to play a defensive style of football. He's only doing it because of the way we performed near the end of the season, winning those games against City and Liverpool. It worked. And when you say he doesn't have tactics, if you don't have tactics, you don't score identical goals. You don't have a goal against Man City and then a goal like we did against Liverpool in the FA Cup final, and the same goal again against Fulham. You don't score 3 replica goals where you could put them split screen and they look identical if you don't have a pattern of play or a style of play. That I disagree with that. Where I think your frustration is the fact that we're not attacking and we're not playing attacking football. You know what, bro? It's a culture change. This is a culture shock. What he's doing is he's playing defensive football. He's playing Simeone football, and guys wanted Simeone, but now there's Arteta doing it, and he's a no-name. Guess what? It's not favorable because he's not a big name. But guess what? Simeone would be playing the exact same way.
But for certain games at home, you don't have to play that. You don't. Right? It used to be that if people came to the Emirates, they're like, "Oh shit, right? We're in for a game, right? We'll be lucky we get anything out of Arsenal." We don't have that anymore. We don't, right? Leeds will look at that result and thought 3 points, right? We just attack them, right? And we'll fall apart.
No, but the Premier League is weird, man. Leeds could go lose to West Brom and then beat Man City. It's just the Premier League is weird. You never know with these teams, man. Like, oh my God.
what people say about tactics, well, Arteta does have tactics. I mean, you look at Solskjaer, everyone says, well, he's just a PE teacher, but he's beaten Man City before, he's beaten PSG, he's beaten countless of top teams. So having no tactics is a rubbish thing to say. The reason why people are upset is because a team like Arsenal, with the attacking players they have, should be scoring a lot more goals. Yeah, the team's not as good as Man City's and Liverpool's, I totally understand. And that's why Arteta's had to focus on the defence. But with the quality, like Aubameyang, what's Aubameyang doing this season? What's he done? What's he done?
3 goals. 3 goals.
3 goals, yeah? But
Yeah.
against a
One or
penalty
two.
against what? Man United. No, I saw a stat. Arsenal have failed to score from open play for the last 6,027 minutes or something.
That's
Do you know how
thing,
shocking that is for our top team?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
what I didn't like is when people started having a go at Aubameyang for some reason, because they were starting to get frustrated that it's going to be like another sort of Ozil situation, and I was like, right,
That's stupid.
every striker, even Henry at times, right, had a few games where he didn't score a goal, right? They had a dip, but for most part, they would still do the business. I think if we're a bit more expansive and positive in our play, right? I mean, why not play Aubameyang down the middle, right? I mean, literally, my team would have been against Villa would have been a flat back 4 with Maitland-Niles as right back, Kieran Tierney at left back, right? You then play Partey and Ceballos. Why not put Willock in the behind the striker, and then put Pepe on the right, Saka on the left, and put
Listen,
Aubameyang up front.
at the end of the day, he's going to go with the players who he trusts the most. And for some reason, he trusts Willian more than Pepe. And for some reason, he trusts Eddie Nketiah more than Martinelli near the end of the season last year, before Martinelli got injured. And it's just, we don't know. He trusts Bellerin over Ainsley. And it's just, he trusts Kolasinac over Saliba and Mustafi over Saliba. So I don't know what to say.
but and this is the problem.
We got
Fans who back
Fabrizio
Arteta,
Romano
I
in
have
the
no
house.
problem with anyone who backs
If
Arteta,
that is Fabrizio
but there's
Romano, can I have an
fans.
interview?
Yeah, I think
I'm going
again
to
with
have
fans
to
like
go in
you
3
you
minutes.
want to. Yeah, like you stick behind Arteta a lot, and I completely understand. But you have to call him out on these decisions. Why is he
I
playing
do.
players like Willian? Yeah, but this is the problem. A lot of the Arteta fans, as I like to call them, don't call Arteta out because, oh no, trust the process. Willian, this is all part of the process. But what's going on? What are you seeing on the pitch in front of you? What is Willian actually doing? Is this part of the process that you want to see?
No, this is honestly, we went for Willian because he was a free agent and we didn't have to pay for the transfer fee. Ideally, if I could have gotten someone, I would have gotten Said Ben Rama from Brentford. You know what I mean? It's shown these
Yeah, but
guys
you've
are
got a
quality.
£70 million player on the bench.
I honestly wouldn't have never stopped. I would have never went with this formation. I would have put Lacazette up, on the bench and put Aubameyang up top and get a left winger to play next to these guys, or give
I'm sorry,
Martinelli.
I've had it with Lacazette, to be honest.
Lacazette absolutely embarrasses us. And you know what? The reason why I'm not on Arteta's case is because I know we're not Chelsea. We're not going to go spend 200 million on the transfer after we sign a new manager. The next manager who comes in is going to have the same problems. So why start a new rebuild every single time? Yes, it might work for 2-3 games, but then we're going to be back at square one.
I think the only thing with Chelsea is that they had 200 million to spend is because they had their transfer ban before.
Yeah, I'm going to have
Right.
to go, Steve, but thanks for having me on, bro. Appreciate
You
it.
didn't say El Neni same as Vieira, did you?
No, I never said that. I said Gilberto Silva said El Neni was the closest thing to Vieira, not me.
Okay.
Anyways, peace, bro.
All right. Cheers. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, I had to ask. But yeah, it really just. It's
I mean, what I'm
frustrating.
starting to see from a lot of Arsenal fans is that the Arteta fans are now starting to realise, okay, there is a few issues here now, which is good because a week ago they were like, oh, we beat Man United, amazing win, even though it was basically a mid-table clash. That's what it felt like. 2 chances created by both teams, very negative, trying to shut each other out. It shouldn't be like that. Not especially a Man United Arsenal game,
Yeah.
So I'm happy that people starting to say, okay, Arteta, is he the man? Starting to question him, because I know he played for the club and he was a good servant, but he deserves criticism like the next man. Doesn't matter if he's a
Oh,
legend or,
well, to be honest, all right, people say he's a legend, right? The only reason he
he's
turned
not a
up at
legend. He's not a
Arsenal,
legend.
the only reason he turned up at Arsenal is because we had extra money from qualifying from the Champions League, right? And it was literally like a panic buy. And I remember that quite clearly. And we had no midfield because we just got battered 8-2 by Man United. Right. So, and since then he spent 4 years at the club. And did he win us the title against Leicester? No. So, like, he's not a legend as in what I class as an Arsenal legend, right? And when you look back at the amazing players we've had, and yeah, it's for me, it's maybe me being a bit spoiled with the fact that we were so expansive under Wenger, in the way we played, and some of the football we played when I was growing up. Because let's be honest, I was born '94, so I was pretty much growing up in Wenger's era, right? And for me, now I start to realise when I look back at the '89 season, the '91 season under George Graham, right? I'd still sit there and say, look, I don't care if we played George Graham's sort of football, which is the same as like Jose Mourinho's, right? As long as it gets results, that's the only thing that bloody matters. Is what's on the top left corner of the game, which is the scoreline. Right? I don't care how we play. We could play the most shittest football on the planet, but if it wins us Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues, you're not going to be worried about it, are you?
No, of course not. I think, I look at it, it's actually, I was thinking to myself, because I think the last time you played Villa, you lost 1-0 at Villa Park. And I think there was a plane that flew over which says, get Kroenke out, back Arteta, something like that, I think. And he got asked after the game, do you have the full backing of the board? And he's like, yeah, I've got full support of Josh and Stan and, everyone else. It'd be interesting now, with January coming up, if they get Alwar and they get Edward from Celtic or whatever, because,
Because they
I
would
can
have done it
understand.
last year. They would have done that last year, right? But I'm sorry, they've literally got 2 loanees, right, and then signed them later. So they, Arsenal, they won't do anything in January,
But if
right?
they
They'll
do
maybe
get
bring
out,
one loan. They'll probably get one loan in and say, "There you go, that's it. Now manage with that."
but the thing is, if Arsenal do get Alwar, then Arteta really has to pull his socks up, because then there's no excuses then. He got the play that he wants because he wanted Partey and Alwar. He got Gabriel, he got Willian. Maybe there might be, I think only one player would probably come in. I reckon actually a few might leave because their contract runs out in this season. So yeah, they might cut price fee. So like Socrates, Kolasinac, very minimal fees,
I've
getting off
already
the books.
accepted. I've already accepted that we're not going to get anything from them, right? Because if we wanted to sell them and teams wanted them, right, we would have been able to sell them in the last window, right? So for me, I've always these players have got to go, and I don't care how it is, right? I don't care if it's a £50 million hit. I don't care if it's the Özil £45 million hit, right? I just get him off the books, right? Just right. So part of me is also thinking, why don't you just pay them off now? If you're not going to use them, right? I mean, why don't you just do it now? Then you'll have the money to and in wages to go and do what you want in January, instead of wasting half a
Yeah.
month trying to get rid of them.
Yeah, but then you've got to think of it. A few injuries in certain positions, then we might actually need them. Especially because you've got Europa League as well. You've still got Carabao Cup, FA Cup's coming in January. So yeah, a few injuries in a certain position, you might think, okay, maybe he
You
might
just
come in
remind
useful
me of
now.
an option as well. right? Saliba's not been picked for Europa League, so why aren't you playing the Premier League? Fofana's gone to Leicester, and look at Leicester. I mean, so why aren't you giving Saliba a chance? We all got apparently. They all said how brilliant Saliba was in St Etienne, and after his loan spell, he's going to come and he's going to be the next sort of greatest defender for Arsenal, right? Especially as he gets older. But if he ain't going to get on the pitch, how's he going to improve?
Well, yeah, but then you got to look at it from Arteta's point of view. He either just doesn't think Saliba's good enough. He's really young for him to start, or there's a lot of different reasons. But you got to remember their league's very different. I know Gabriel came from their league.
You say being very young to start. He's playing Saka at left back.
Yeah, no, but Saka's proven himself, and that was under other Matt. You got to thank Henry for bringing him through. He played under Emery, played under Ljungberg, and played under Arteta. See, Arteta doesn't know anything about Saliba whatsoever. Completely new.
This is why I say I think we've got a Carabao Cup game coming up, right? So, but he won't start him in that. I've always used it. I remember Arsenal always using the Carabao Cup to give sort of the youth players a chance of some first team football and see if they can express themselves and have a chance of having a shout for the first team. So if that's the case, stick Saliba in the next Carabao Cup game. See how he gets on. Right?
Yeah.
It's the only way you're going to know if he's any good or not.
But then again, some of those Arsenal fans will be like, "Well, Arteta's got a plan. He obviously doesn't see Saliba in it. So if he doesn't see him in it, then obviously he must be right." And everyone, because I think there's a lot of fans who still kiss Arteta's feet and believe he's some sort of god. So whatever he decides is right, and it's stupid that I just don't understand. If you swapped.
It makes it sound like that you're making the manager bigger than the club. Right?
Exactly.
And the problem is that we started doing that with Wenger. And it really pissed me off.
And that's what divided the fan base.
Yeah. I mean, it literally had to take things to go so bad to the point that we could only win one game away from home in 2018 that was? One game away from home. To get them to finally realise that, oh yeah, maybe his time is up. Right? And what's more annoying about Wenger is now it comes up in an autobiography saying that, oh yeah, maybe I did stay too long. No shit, Sherlock. Right? Because you're now dealing with half your shit, and half of your team is still in this current Arsenal side. And what I saw yesterday was them just collapsing, doing the same as what they did against Bayern Munich. And that's why I make DT right in his fan cam, is that it was just like what happened with Bayern Munich. As soon as we went 2-1 down, that was it. Pum. Gone. And
I feel sorry for Arteta, but then I don't because.
By the way, Anthony, come on! I've called it the Arsenal counselling show for a reason.
I want to say I love Arteta. I think he's won an FA Cup, won a Community Shield. He's done wonders with that squad. You look at that squad, you think to win an FA Cup, yeah.
I mean, we were in a relegation. You asked me when we were in relegation form, all falling apart, and we had Ljungberg in temporary charge, and you said Arteta's going to come in and you're going to win. By the end of the season, this team's going to win he's going to get you the FA Cup with his team. I would have said, "What the fuck have you been smoking?" Right?
Yeah.
Right. And plus, to question that, do I want some? Right? Or can I have some?
Yeah.
So, I mentioned that after the FA Cup final because I got a chance to go with AFTV at Box Park. And I said in my interview there, and I'll put it in one of my playlists, is that, right, first of all, I said, like, we need to back him, right? Back him fully, not this half Willian and one player with Partey and Gabriel, right? I mean, proper back him. If he wants this, get him this. If he wants that, get him that. Plus, I said as well, is that, yeah, it's incredible how he's managed to get that team to be able to play like they did against Man City. Sorry, excuse me. And I mean, I was watching that on my sister's birthday weekend, and I'm like screaming the ass down, right? And I said to Mum, I said, I've just taken some of my medication, and one of them's like one of the opiates, and I said, have I taken too much? Right? So, but I mean, what he's managed to do with that is just unbelievable, right? So you want to give him the chance, and I do really hope he does. He is the right. Hopefully, he is the right man. But I can see why people don't think he is, and this is what
I
really
think.
winds me up. Because sorry, I'll just finish this now. Is that you got? I like Lee Gunner a lot. He's helped me out with every time that I've sent a message on his channel. He's always asked people to go to mine and subscribe and everything, and he hopes to do something with us in the future, right? And he's Arteta out, and I don't really agree with that, right?
Yeah.
But why we got to fight over it, right? If you're Arteta in, fine. If you're Arteta out, let them be Arteta out. It's their prerogative. It's their choice, right? What we need to focus is what we need to focus. The more you argue, the more the board's sitting there like, well, they're arguing amongst themselves. They don't have to worry about us, right? Right? As long as we're like, as long as they're not targeting us, we're not too fast.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at it and I see fan cams and I watch maybe the Football Terrace and whatever. I mean, I watch League Gunner. I watch a lot of Arsenal streams, Arsenal YouTubers. What it seems like to me is that some of the Arsenal fans who want Arteta, like the ones who really worship him and think he's a God-given gift, believe that the people like Lee Gunner.
Just reading this on from then. Danny is a Spurs fan for a start, and Dan tried to beat news to Saliba. Daniel Levy was willing to pay £30 million to sign him. Levy was tight, but was willing to pay that money, which Levy never does. How much we rated, and the thing with that is that the synergy. Though I think the main thing with that is the reason we beat him to it. We were willing to get him go back on loan to NTN, and Spurs won. So I think that's why we got him. But yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, I think especially lockdown as well, because we haven't been able to go see the teams that we love and stuff. We've had an opportunity to be on social media and speak a lot more than what we would normally would. That's probably the best thing about the lockdown. That obviously you do watchalongs and you have more shows because you've got more time. The people who really love Arteta, like Igal, like Sonny, like a few others, like Terry, But I think they sort of what I feel is that they think the people who want Arteta out don't want the best for the club, in terms of they want the club to fail. Like they
No,
they do it for their it.
they don't want the club to fail. I mean, you really think Lee Gunner would set up a channel and was sitting there
No,
like,
this is what I'm
yeah,
saying. That's
like,
what I feel
yeah,
like they're
I
trying to
want,
do.
I
They're trying to
want,
say Lee Gunner. Yeah.
It's the same with like DT when Wenger he was against Wenger, right? He wants him to prove him wrong, right? He wants him to win him the title so like he can be proved wrong and say, yeah, I got it wrong, right? But he was proven right. So And that's the same here. Lee Gunner has never wanted Arteta in, right? He thought we could have got a lot better. And he really feels that Arsenal should be aiming higher than just getting Arteta in. And but that doesn't mean that he wants Arsenal to fail. He literally sits there and hopes Arteta proves him wrong and makes him look like a frigging idiot, right? Because we then go and win the title in 2 or 3 years.
But then you see you maybe watch the football toast, and when I remember when Lee Gunner and Sonny Anigal and all the others won it, they had that massive argument. The guy was trying to make Lee Gunner out to be some sort of wants the worst for the club and doesn't want to get behind Arteta. Lee Gunner loves the club. I know he loves the club.
I mean, that's the thing, is that like I mean, that's why I remember when I went on Igal's channel once, and it was a couple of days before we did that charity night with Cool the Bansters, and I said I'm going to be doing that, and he didn't want to mention me Claude's name on his channel, and I'm like, well, what's the problem? I was thinking to myself, but I was like, no, this is for like they've set up this charity thing, right, and that's what I need to be for. But in the end, is that why have you got to make them? If you don't like his opinion, don't watch the channel. If you don't like, I mean, I don't like. Let me put it in another way. I don't like I didn't like watching Love Island, for example, when it was on. So I didn't bloody watch it. Right? It's like if you don't like watching the highlights of Match of the Day, right, because we've lost, you don't watch it. Right? So don't worry about, why are we worrying about each other's opinion? They want to have their own opinion on what's best. In the end, everyone wants best for Arsenal Football Club. Right? That's all anyone wants. I'm guaranteeing you this. Right?
Yeah.
It's just everyone has a different view of what is best for the Arsenal. But then making it personal and calling people out is just wrong. It's just no need for it. Sonny, I was really, really, right. Every time I've heard him recently, it's not been great at all. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it just really upsets me when the fan base is arguing like this. Right. You really think,
But the fact,
he takes those.
the
Really
Arsenal.
think when he goes to. I mean, he said it on that during that argument. Do you really think that he would come in through that turnstile with all those opinions about Arsenal going through? No, he comes through that turnstile for 90 minutes, whether he hates Ozil or hates Lacazette or hates Welbeck or whatever. Right? He wants them to perform at their best and will support them for 90 minutes. Right? Simple as that. And that's all we asked as a foot. All they asked for is for them to put 110% in. Because if they put 110% in, right, he can then go, okay, you've done your best. Can't ask more than that. But performances like that yesterday, that's just all that does is just prove that there should be something better. Right? And if they feel that means that the manager has to go, that's their problem. That's their prerogative. I'm hoping that if there's any Arsenal fans who want to come on, please, because I was going to show my starting 11 what I'd play for at home, because I don't think we should be playing 3-4-3 at home at all.
Oh.
And
No, you could make a case, because I know Wolves play that formation, but things with they create so many chances and they score a lot of goals. So it's not the fact that they're defensive; they've got the right balance. Arsenal don't have that balance.
That's the thing. Look. I mean, this. I don't know if they do this for QPR actually, but this website does it for like Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City. right? So you put just searched in Google, read, and then the name of your club, and squad selector, and it's quite useful actually. But this is what I'd play at 4-2-3-1, right? Then it would be Leno, Maitland-Niles. Bellerin can piss off and do his fashion shows, right?
Yeah.
Then I would play as David Luiz and Gabriel, even if David Luiz is a bit dodgy on at the back, in a back two. But here's the thing: you could even play Cedric Suarez as a right back. I mean, he's not bad. He's not. I mean,
Yeah,
better than
but
fucking Bellerin. You telling me
yeah,
that
I mean, yeah.
Suarez is not better than Bellerin? I mean, seriously.
But then he hasn't really played that much. Not really, since he's joined. I know he was injured for a bit, but he hasn't really played that much.
Oh, well, I'm trying to find it now. Tierney, where's Tierney? There he is. Right. Right. Then we've got. Then you put El Neni. Right. Everyone's going on about like how El Neni's changed. What? Because he won us one game against Man United. Right. I mean, seriously, that was one game, and then what did he do? Turn back into his nickname, Mohamed El Sideways.
Yeah.
So it's what am I doing here? Partey, Ceballos. Where's Ceballos? Can't find Ceballos. Can't find him anywhere. What I think is we need to replace, once we get Ozil out the door, we can replace him with a proper CAM. If we want to play it this way. But here's the thing, like Balogun. Why don't we play Balogun as a forward line as well? And Nketiah's had plenty of chance. You
The
know what
thing
I mean?
is, with Balogun, at least with Nketiah, he went out on loan to a bit with Leeds. He's always been in and around that first team at Arsenal, whether it's just training or on the bench. Balogun, it's a big risk because he hasn't actually had a. I mean, you might give him a chance. Why not? You know, you don't. None of your
But
strikers
let's start
particularly
getting the Carabao Cup.
performing.
We've still got a Carabao Cup game to play.
Well, yeah, but
But
then
you
again,
won't
I
put him
think
in
that
that.
it's a quarter final now. You're in the quarter final, so do you really want to be? Do you want to put out a bit more of a stronger team to make sure you get to that semi final, or
Well, yeah,
just
you put
I know?
experienced players around him, but like, it's like I said with Saliba. What I put is Gabriel and Saliba as a back two for that game. So that's. I mean, look, this is what I would have got. This is what I've churned out, and the best thing I could churn out, which was as soon as I find him, there he is. There. So you've got here Leno, Maitland-Niles, Luiz, Gabriel, Tierney, then Partey, Ceballos, Willock, Pepe, Saka, and Aubameyang. Now, if that's not attacking, I don't know what is.
Things I know you can make a case about the formation, but if you know last season when you were playing the 3-4-3, it was actually working. You were scoring goals, you were shutting teams out, you were playing well, you had a style of play. So what's happened this season which has gone wrong? This
I
is the
think
thing.
some teams have figured that out. I think teams
Yeah,
are figuring
yeah.
it out. You see, right? Aston Villa have worked out our weaknesses straight away. So they target holding, and in 40 seconds they could have been 1-0 up if it weren't for VAR.
Yeah.
If that guy was in front of Leno, that's 1-0, and that's literally 40 seconds into the game, right? But what's worse is unlike like when we've gone that far 1-0 down. The last time I can really remember we went 1-0 down that quickly was Chelsea in 04, an invincible season. But I knew then with that team, I weren't worried. I wasn't worried. We were away at the bridge as well. They'd spent 120 million. We've spent only 15, 20 million on a goalkeeper. But I weren't worried because I know that team had the backbone to pick themselves up. Vieira would have grabbed Pope by the scruff of the neck, right, and tell them to do their job. And we ended up winning 2-1 anyway. by at least half time. So, but with this side, if we go 1-0 down, what I did think that they'd have still the mentality of the FA Cup final, because we went 1-0 down in that one, but they didn't let their heads drop. Same as against Liverpool at home before that, but what I saw there was just literally, I was like, oh my god, have we just gone back to Wenger? Jesus.
I do feel sorry for Arteta, because if he had a better caliber of players that he was coaching, I mean, he was used to coaching De Bruyne, and look at those class players there. Now he's got Ozil, who doesn't even want to play, or he's not. I think he wants to play. He's not allowed to play. Mustafi and Kolasinac. What a downgrade that is.
The way Sonny and Igual abused Claude over him leaving for another channel was disgusting. I didn't know that, and I don't like getting involved.
I don't know that.
In other people's, that's their problem and it's their prerogative. Right? Me, it's like I've always said for this channel, is that everyone is entitled to come on and have their say, whether no matter what, unless they've had a go at me or they dislike me, for example, and I've got a problem with them, then that's where I would say no. But I'm not sure about that, to be honest, and I don't want to really get involved.
No, I didn't know anything about that.
But
I have to say, with the football Terry's very clever with how he does it. I have to say, he knows what he's doing. I think that's all I can say on it. Really, he knows what he's doing.
Well, it's a Man United preview, but and then you're looking at you can tell these three are arguing, and Man United fans are sitting there just literally getting the popcorn out.
Yeah,
I mean, you should be bantering each other's football team. You shouldn't be having a go at the same.
They take it very seriously as well. Like when someone's having an argument and they do go a bit personal, Terry says, "Well, calm down. Come on, let's not get too personal." But he sort of still sits back and lets them go through it. There's no sort of limit, almost.
Who said Fred was world class? Hasn't even played games before recently.
Yeah, I can't stand Fred. Sorry about that. People know my opinions on Fred.
Yeah, I think we've already worked out your opinions on Fred.
Yeah,
I mean, it's. I did like how the All Guns Blazing podcast where DT was like, Everton, you got to take the L, and let this continue. What's worse now is we got to sit here for 2 weeks with international football. By the way, I will be doing live streams for those games, right? So probably going to be bored as hell, but but what's that in that is that we have to win. We've got to win Belgium away and at home to Iceland, and hope Denmark drop a point or two.
England are third, aren't they, in the group?
Yeah. So we'll join second with Denmark. So we have to win both games and hope Denmark lose at some point. If we lose if Belgium or Iceland, then we're screwed. Grant is on the channel. Hi, Grant.
All right, Stephen.
It's first time on the channel. How are you?
I'm all right. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. Not too bad. What do you make of the dramas of yesterday? Are you an Arsenal fan?
Yeah.
Right. What do you make of it? What's that?
I'm a Rangers supporter, but I'm also an Arsenal supporter.
Okay. Yeah. What was your make of yesterday's shambles?
Well, I can expect it because also Arsenal fans were getting a bit overreactive because of last week against Man United. And then obviously we got slapped in the face by Aston Villa.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we've been explaining. It's just I don't get why we're so negative at the minute. I really don't. And I mean, even some away performances as well is like, why we need to be a negative? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just like, I mean, Leeds are probably going to be looking at that for the next game and just go, yes, thank you. Just go. They're just going to attack this lot, right?
Aye.
And they'll fall apart. And that was what was most worrying as well, is that we're going to end up falling apart like we did under Wenger.
Hmm.
So, I mean, you see me just doing my lineup there. And what do you think? Do you agree with that lineup, or would you change? Sorry.
Well,
Anything?
me personally, I would go with Maitland-Niles at right back.
Hmm.
I would go with Four at the back as well. We'll go, if David Luiz is fit, I would play him and Gabriel at the back because they've had a really
Who
good
is that next?
partnership.
Who is that next to? Gabriel and
Lee
who?
and Gabriel, because this season I think they've had a very strong partnership.
Hmm.
And I would go with Maitland-Niles at right back and then Tierney at left back.
Yeah.
Partey in the midfield with maybe Ceballos and try and give Joe Willock a chance. And I'll go with front three of Aubameyang, Pepe, and Saka.
Yeah, so Aubameyang as a striker, yeah.
Aye.
That's the thing, because, like, I mean, we said yesterday, I think Prime was making the point that everyone plays him out wide.
Hmm.
But actually, if you looked at it when he played centrally in the Bundesliga, he was outscoring Lewandowski. So if that doesn't tell you that he can't score goals in the centre, I don't know what will.
Hmm.
Right? So, I mean, just some of the decisions at the minute is just baffling. Absolutely baffling. Yeah, it really just, I can't, and this is where I'm now torn between the two. I don't want to be out because I want to give him the chance. I want him to see what he could do, especially if the next transfer window comes along and he's got all this money to spend, right? That should be available, right? With all these deadwood players going. I think he's tried his best to get rid of them, but because they're so shit, right? And they're over 100 grand a week, everyone's like, yeah, you're all right, thanks. Um, so, I mean, what would you get in the transfer window, right? In the next summer transfer window, if you had the money to spend?
I would get Dominic Szoboszlai because I think he would bring that creativity. He's a young prospect, so you would get the best out of him. You'll get like at least 5 years from him. A lot of people say that you would have. A lot of people say go get Huzamawa. To me, I'm still not convinced on Hawa because he's had one good season in Lyon last season. But we've seen players who have one good season, but they just don't hack it. I would go get maybe Max Allen's at right back because he's proven himself in the Premier League. He was Norwich's best player last season, and I think he would upgrade that right back position. I'd probably go get another left winger, so you can have competition with Saka. And obviously you've got Martinelli as well, but you can play him as a backup striker to Aubameyang. And I'll go get another left back in case Tierney gets injured, because if Tierney gets injured, then pretty much Arsenal are gubbed.
I think that's the great thing with Martinelli. What he's lucky is that he's got Aubameyang, which is very similar, that they can play left wing as in a striker as well.
Mm.
And you know, players tend to grow so much better when they've got someone already established in that position, and he's a top quality player. I mean, Fabregas had when he started, he had Vieira at the club. So, yeah, I think for me, I would definitely get another right back, and probably Mike Zalmans would do that for me. Whether I keep Suarez, I don't know. Right, that would be my third option. Right, I think he's tied up to another 2 years anyway. So, left back, I would replace Kolasinac, and I think if we're going to play 4 at the back and then play 3 behind the striker, you need a proper CAM, because if you saw my squad there, we've got only Willock, really. Right? So if Ozil we know he's going, we need to replace him. Right? And I think there's definitely going to be some CAM options out there. And then I would also think about a left wing back as well. But those areas first, as well as another defender, getting rid of some of the defenders we've got, because we've got about 8 and we could get rid of 2 of them, right, and buy a proper centre back to go with Gabriel. Then you can start looking at the forward options. But defensively, what I did like with Arteta is that the first player he bought, apart from Saliba, which was a freebie, so you don't really sort of count that in a way. But his proper signing was a centre back, and that's how you should do it. Like George Graham always said, you build from the back forward. So, whereas, I mean, you remember with Wenger, he just bought. It was every time we were linked with someone, it was a striker, a left winger, it was a CA, and we're like, just buy a bloody centre back, please. Yeah, I mean, where do you stand on Arteta at the minute?
See, I didn't want him in the first place because I just didn't think he was ready to be a manager at Arsenal, because it's a big job when you're being an assistant manager at Man City and you're taking over a club that's been in a turmoil for 15 years now. You had to get an experienced manager, someone's going to be ruthless, someone like a Jose Mourinho, Ancelotti, Rafa Benitez, someone who's going to take the game, take these players by the scruff of the neck and say, if you aren't doing it, you're going to be showing the door. The fact that he's begged Xhaka to stay, offered David Luiz a new contract, Mustafa a new contract, still not knowing his best 11, being 10 months on the job, it's a little bit worrying. I think he's just a guy that was employed to get the fans back on track, trying to back everything that the board says, and it's kind of working for them because there's now a divide between Arteta in, Arteta out. It's the same as Mesut Ozil in, Ozil out, Wenger in, Wenger out. So it's just another cycle.
I think there's pretty much one decision now, to be honest.
Right.
But yeah, Jesus. Yeah. Right, I do really wonder sometimes it really affects my health. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to jump up and go Arteta out for now. It carries on the way it is, then I will. Because it's just not good enough. 4 wins and 4 defeats already, right? 2 of them being at home, and it's not. The thing is, as well, we played Turby yesterday, but then we had chances, right? Lacazette, I don't care, man. You put that in the net. You put it in the net. I don't care, right? If it's under you or wherever, you can't jump high enough. That ball was perfect. It just needed you to put your head on it. You didn't have to put any pace on it. It would have gone in. So yeah, it's just so really, really, really fucking frustrating. It's like sometimes when I have rants with the doctors, to be honest, because sometimes I want to grab them by the scruff of the neck and just go, "You fucking listen to me, right? Do this, do that, do this, do that." But yeah, I mean, what would you do? Do you think, actually, because Danny's been messaging quite a lot on this channel, and I know he's a Spurs fan, right? Do you think that it was right not to go with Mourinho?
Nah, I think we should have got Jose.
Yeah.
Because he's totally transformed that team. You look at last season, they were below Arsenal. He took over, got them above Arsenal, got them into the Europa League, and now they're sitting second in the Premier League table. And I'm worried that if he can get them on a good run this season, he could actually win the title, especially the way the league is wide open. and he knows his second season he's always on the ball, and he can get the job done, and he can win a league title. It's always his first season. That's when things go a little bit pear-shaped for him. So I think we should have got Jose, but he didn't want the job because he doesn't like the way the club's structured. He wants to deal with the chairman on his own. He doesn't want to go through all these different processes to get his player.
Well, yeah, I mean, with Arsenal in a minute, if you want to talk to the owner, you have to go fly to America. I mean, Jesus Christ. I literally want to go to his stadium and burn it the fuck down. Said, here's a Christmas present. Right? And what's worse is then he sends his son to do his dirty work. Or his nephew, whatever. I don't think we care what relation he is, to be honest. I just know they were parasites. But for me, I think the only thing I was worried about was Jose was probably at the time of how the last job went, to be honest, and that he's never had 2 or 3 seasons there. And what was also worrying is that if it didn't go right, it will really quickly change, and the fans will jump on him even more. I mean, imagine if this situation with Jose under Jose, most of the fan base will start agreeing with Lee already. And it'll probably be Lee who has to be defending, and like DT saying Arteta out, or Jose out instead of Jose in. So, yeah. So, I mean, will Tottenham win the league? I don't think so, to be honest. I know Jose Mourinho's known to do that, but you never can tell. Anthony, how are you?
All right, mate. Not too bad, Stephen. You?
Yeah, I'm offering a free cancelling session.
I think we all need it after yesterday. Bloody hell.
Oh, go on then. What do you think?
Oh, well, I think it's pretty much what I said on the stream yesterday. Arteta's got, he's partly, well, obviously he is to blame. He's not picking the right team. He's picking different teams day in, day out. The tactics are all different. And I mean, to lose 3-0 to a team that, Villa, they just beat relegation last season, didn't they? By 4 or 5 points, something like that.
But let's be fair with Villa, they've spent in the right areas, to be honest.
Well, they have, yeah. I think it's about 150 million, 160 million they spent in the last. Season.
Ross Barkley, you've got Ollie Watkins, and yeah, they had players to hurt us, right? And that's why, even though they've had a couple of defeats, they've had what they would call a very good start to the season.
Yeah,
definitely better start than we have. 4 defeats already is just not good enough.
No, it's not. No.
But the squad I selected there, which was Leno, Maitland-Niles, Gabriel David-Luiz, then Kieran Tierney, then the 2 in front of Partey and Ceballos. Since we got no CAM because Ozil loves his fortnight, right? Yeah. We put Willock as a CAM, Pepe on the right, and then Saka on the left, and then Aubameyang up front.
Yeah, you got to play two defensive midfielders in front of that back 4, just to help them out a bit, because our back 4 is just
yeah, I know that, but I don't get why 2 holding midfield players ain't enough. Because if you think about it, if you've got a flat back 4, then you put 2 in front, you've basically got 6 instead of 5.
Yeah.
And so I can't work that out. I literally can't.
No, it's just poor away range, really. He don't play with a fat back 4, does he? He seems to play with a 3 with the wing. Well, the left wing back and the right wing back attacking, didn't he? So, nah, I don't like Aubameyang out on the left. He's lost out there on the left. Can't play him out on the left.
And if
a player like that got to
the
be
thing
playing up
is
front.
that we're so negative. No wonder he's not getting any service. No
No,
wonder he ain't getting any chances. Right?
that's right. Yeah,
You can play him out on the wing, and then you play so negative. I mean, how the hell is he supposed to get a chance on goal when there's 11 players behind the ball?
but that's right. Yeah, I think to be honest with you, the attacking, we haven't got that balance in the team, if you like.
Mm.
I think we got too many. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good to have attacking options, but when you've got too
And again,
many
it was the
attacking,
same. It was the same against Man United, but the Man United game was perfect.
yeah,
You can play that
yeah,
any better. Right, so I
no,
get it if you're going to play it away. If you're going to play away games, right, and you're going to play it like that, totally get it. Maybe not against lower, very low opposition like Burnley or something, but no disrespect to Burnley, but yeah, but for big games like or medium games like Leicester, Wolves away or something like that, totally get it, right? But at home, no. Sorry.
no, no. It was totally wrong. I know he accepted the blame. I mean, at half time, well, the start of the second half, he took Party off, didn't he? Now, I still haven't heard. Did he have a knock, or was it a technical decision, or what?
I still don't work that out. It doesn't look like there's been an injury.
No,
I've had no injury news on their website, so
no,
it seems to me that he took him off for tactical reasons.
yeah. So,
In which case, what the fuck did he say?
well, no, I don't know
He only made it bloody worse.
exactly. Absolute rubbish. I don't know. I think he's obviously he did say he was going to take full responsibility of it, but he's just that baffled me when I heard he was taking Party off. I thought, well,
Yeah,
I
when
didn't see nothing.
you saw how the midfield collapsed after that.
Yeah, the
Right,
midfield. I mean,
Partey had a fire issue. Well, I'll just double check that actually. Thomas, yeah, he's ruled
keeper
out the Ghana squad.
is he?
Yeah, uh, uh, yeah, he's been ruled out the AFCON qualifiers on international break. Yeah, it was due to an injury.
Right, okay.
It's just no one asked him the bloody question at the time.
No,
So in that case, then yeah, I can get it. Why?
yeah,
Because last thing we need is Partey getting a real thigh problem,
yeah,
right? Especially since we got like El Neni and Tobias and Xhaka, right, in that as options. So yeah, it's I don't know what else to say. It's just so disappointing. It's just so frustrating. 'Cause you're like stuck in the middle.
well, it
I
is
hate being stuck in the middle, right? In the grey part of it. I like being either one side or that.
exactly. And you got to think. After the international games, I believe our next game after that is Leeds United. Now, Leeds United, they're not they're quite good going forward, and that Patrick Bamford, he's on fire as well, isn't he? At the moment, he's not doing too bad for him. So
I think what I think I'm gonna do is for the minute is just sort of let everyone have their opinion on it and sort of I'll get Spooners sitting on the fence. How about that?
but trouble is though, I can't stop thinking like maybe the job's too big for him, Arteta. You
That's
know,
the thing.
yeah,
I don't blame him if it is.
yeah, he's got no experience as he is a manager. And you think of it now, when you're going back years ago, we had Arsene Wenger was challenging like the likes of Alex Ferguson. Then there's Pep. Then there's Jose Mourinho. Then obviously Ancelotti from Everton. These managers now roughly they'll be coming towards the end soon. I mean, Mourinho's in his late 50s, isn't he? He's got 57, I think. Jose Mourinho. So he's only got a few years. He's only got about 8 years left, and he doesn't really state it.
Sorry, you only signed Partey a month ago, so him going off and you falling apart, relying on him so much already after he's only been at your club a month, it's a bit mad. But it is true at the minute, right?
It is
There's
true,
no one sort of make it. I mean, look at the way Boss. I mean, he took on Fred, Pogba, and McTominay against Man United at Old Trafford and made them look like someone from Hackney. Like made them look like a crap side. So we are relying on him in a way at the minute.
Yeah, we are. I mean, we're relying on Partey in that defensive midfield area. Then we're relying on Gabriel. Then we're relying on the left hand side is Kieran Tierney, and then the Aubameyang up front. You know, these are the main things. But
I think where we should be relying on also is Pepe on the right wing and Maitland-Niles on the right wing back.
Yeah, I mean, trouble is with Pepe. I don't get me wrong. I like him, but I think it's too much for it. The valuation, you know, the price tag is too much for him. It's on top of his head. You know, 72 million. Yeah, on Pepe. Yeah, he's it's too much of an ask for him, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, and the thing is, well, you've been under Pep Guardiola, right? So why are you so negative? I mean, why? I mean, you're under one of the greatest managers to play attacking football, like tick attack of football, whatever they wanted to call it, and yet you can't play positively in a at home to Aston Villa. It doesn't make sense.
No, I don't. I don't know whether it's to do with this COVID. You know, if there ain't no fans there being at the stadium, if that makes a difference. But there's so many ways of looking at it, but the blame he's got to come back on Arteta, and that's it.
Yeah, I think for the minute I'm going to stick to the F1 to be honest, while it lasts. At least that way I'm getting some satisfaction.
Yeah.
Alright, at least in that one, he only has Hamilton has only finished second, and that'll be the end of it. So, but I think after that, I'm just gonna just chill out for 2 weeks. Might find things to do and not worry about it.
Yeah, but I mean,
well,
with that,
I've got Wednesday show as well. So
yeah, but with that Partey, I mean, hopefully it's not a bad injury, you know, touch wood, and I'm glad he's had it now because you got the 2 week break, haven't you? You know, he's resting for 2 weeks and that sort of thing. So
yeah, very true. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there because I'm knackered from all the streams. I've still got to do Wednesday show and find something to talk about without ranting on about this current situation. But I think today I just wanted to sort of rant a little bit, just so I don't rant on my mum, to be honest.
yeah, I mean, we're all Arsenal fans here, and
well, she's an Arsenal fan as well, and she can't get it either.
No,
right.
no.
So, yes, but and so let's just say when we're losing, she knows about it.
Well, same here, yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to be ranting on my mum because like she's my carer as well. So Like she
Oh, yeah,
takes to the
that's right,
hospital every week and stuff like that, you know. So
yeah.
for the minute, it's whilst I've got my health issues at the minute, it's like you don't. And plus, she's a donor as well. She was my second donor for my second transplant, so I'm screwed.
Oh, was she?
Yeah. This
Yeah.
second of 6 transplants, she was a living related donor, and we were the first ones to do a living related donor from what they call a cadaveric donor, which was a brainstem death. So
Yeah.
we were the sort of the first ones to have a transplant, not work, and then do a living related.
All right.
So yeah, it's a permanent debt. It's annoying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, that's why sometimes I have to make her a cup of tea or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, but yeah, I think we just have to hopefully. I'm hoping that he'll realise how, because let's be honest, he did say it's his responsibility for the performance and that, and I think it's just that. I mean, the guy was on earlier, and he said about the players as well, and yeah, the players are to blame. They should be playing better than that.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, Arteta's got to take the hit on this one because he got it all wrong. You should have been playing centre give. End of
I mean, yeah,
story.
he's got it all wrong. I mean, with Villa, who was it? Who
This is
they
one
beat?
thing this is one thing that frustrates me about Aubameyang being captain. He doesn't do that with some of them players and like
No.
get with it. You see
Yeah.
Tony Adams or Keown, or even Keown wasn't even a captain, or Ray Powell at times, or Vieira. Right? They would have him by the wall in the dressing room. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Right? So yeah, I mean, yeah, you were saying Nancy anyway.
Yeah, it's just you know, that's what I was going to say then. No, it's totally gone. But
That's not to worry about it.
it's just that's what it is. I think if it's just a blip, I mean, this could be just a one-off blip, and I hope it is, you know. And then just obviously move on for that. But I mean, they beat a team. Was it Liverpool?
Well, be honest. He came back from the COVID. When we came back from COVID, the lockdown first
Yeah.
time, and we lost to Man City. That wasn't his fault because the way we were playing, we were all right? Because he played it exactly the same as we did in the Man City game in the Man City semi-final, and it worked a treat.
Yeah.
It was just so many things went against our way with injuries, and then David Luiz and God knows what else.
Yeah.
And then we played Brighton, and yes, he was wrong in that.
Yeah.
But then he did then afterwards beat Southampton, beat Wolves, beat Leicester, right? So I know he can put us to run. It's not like Solskjaer where you don't even know when the next win's coming from, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, it's like I keep saying. I mean, they went to Istanbul, but unfortunately, they didn't get the Liverpool's experience of Istanbul.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, for me, it's just I know he can put a run together. It's just he needs to do it soon, right? And
Yeah.
he
You need
needs
to
to
do it
stop buying
sooner
out his
than.
mistakes. Otherwise, people are going to be all the art. All it is then it starts building and building, right? And as we saw on the football terrace the other night, it starts getting toxic,
That's right.
and that's
Yeah.
what's even worse.
Yeah.
And that's where I like to also be. Just I don't want to be like I have my own opinion, but I want to be sort of in between the two. So I'll work on. That's the thing. I'll welcome anyone's opinion, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think obviously new players for next season. God knows who was going to get, but I remember obviously what
Who would you get?
I
I've asked Grant this. Who would you get?
well I did listen to Grant when he said Max Aaron's from Norwich, that right back.
Mm.
I would definitely go for him.
I would have gone for him on loan other than Suarez.
Sorry?
We know we got Suarez while we were linked with Max Aaron. We should have got him.
Yeah. Yeah. I think another centre back in there.
Yeah. Because we're going to get rid of 2, aren't we? So at least.
Well, I think we need to get rid of more than 2. I think we need to get rid of, Chambers.
Well, I think Socrates is going, and so's Kolasinac.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully Kolasinac. I mean, I could be touched my fusion pump, yet still to pass the ball better. I mean, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so I do feel that Kolasinac will go. I still think Socrates will go. So that's 2 already. And that's nearly that's already over 100 grand a week.
Yeah.
So you can get a half decent centre back, to be honest.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah, because Socrates,
A
I
very
think
good
when he
centre
came
back.
to work, I think he's on about. I think he's on about 80. He's on about 80 grand a week.
Well, they all must be high wages because no one bloody wants them.
Exactly. Yeah.
So he's definitely going to get the wages, and then he can balance it out in terms of transfer budget and stuff like that to be able to then go and get the player he wants.
Yeah. I mean,
but
was
like
it
you said,
PSG
yes,
that
centre
came
back
in
for
for?
work.
Yeah, but was it PSG that came in for Bellerin? 25 mil. Why not sell him?
I know.
Why not sell him?
I would have taken 25 million.
Yeah.
Right. Hang on. It's been hard for your mum, Steve. Seeing her son in and out of hospital. Big up to your mum. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Yeah, it is hard. It's hard on the whole family. I mean, I have a sister as well doing a master's degree in criminal psychology, right? And she's just as strong as I am, to be honest, probably stronger. And yeah, I will say this about it is that one time after my 3rd transplant, she was 7 years old, right? And because I was obviously older than her for the first 2, so she wasn't born, and she saw me at 7 years old, like looking like with tubes hanging out, God knows what else, because I've just had a transplant, right? And she came in the ITU, just sat next to my bed and held my hand at a 7-year-old. So yeah, it's been, and she's had to go to uni whilst I've been in hospital as well and not been well. And my last transplant, she was busy at uni, but I had to stop, take a week off because I was having my transplant and that. So yeah, if you get to realise, especially when you get older, that it affects the whole family. So and you sort of makes you more appreciative of how much support you get from your family and that. I mean, if my mum could do another living related now, she would do quite happily. So and apparently my sister has already said, she's already said, if you need another kidney, I've got one. So, but yeah, I mean, anyway.
It's nice because it's about so many people that help help you out, and and obviously raising a good cause, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, are you still? Is it still 750?
Yeah, we've got £250 to go.
Yeah.
Right. So, but like I said as well before, you don't even have to don't have to make it saying it's about you. It could be anonymous or whatever. Just donate what you can. I mean, even if it's a couple of quid, it's just every little helps towards.
Every little help, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, research, support, anything is just so much appreciated. So, yeah, Max Owen's being linked with Barcelona. Barcelona had 2 bids rejected for him in the summer. That is true, actually. So it shows the caliber of player he is. But you were finishing off how much? You were finishing off quickly about what you get.
Yeah, Max Aaron's a centre back. I'm not too sure what centre back you need someone good, like you need someone like another Gabriel at the back there, definitely. Obviously a new left back. I like to play with the two defensive midfielders in front of a flat back four. Another one, I tell you what, nobody mentions him at DM, is that Ruben Neves from Wolves.
Yeah, it's a good shout.
A Portuguese player, that he'd be a good
Premier
one.
League proven.
Yeah, so if you had like Ruben Neves and Partey, all right, I know nobody's keen on Xhaka, or either you could sell Xhaka and you could put Elneny in there. So you can get
Well,
money
no, I
from
wouldn't
Xhaka.
tell Xhaka. To be honest, I think with Xhaka, I wouldn't give him captaincy back ever.
No.
Right? But I'd have a place to fight with Ruben Neves as competition.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because these players have got to have competition. I'm sorry. Right?
Well, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean, looking at, we next season we could be set if he likes him to Atletico Madrid. Torreira, he could be
yeah.
going. Guendouzi, he's out on loan. I mean, he could be gone.
But that's the thing. Even these players, we only bought them a year or two ago. We can't even move these on.
Yeah.
So,
But there's a few there. I think we need to get someone out on that. I think obviously to replace. I think you've got Aubameyang up front, and then you could play. Obviously, if Aubameyang's injured or he drops in for a game, obviously you could put in Laka. I think you've got Willian there, and you could place Willian with Martinelli. Obviously you've got Saka and Pepe there on the right and left. I think Eddie Nketiah could play. I think he could play there where Saka is. If Saka got injured, you could play Eddie there on the left. He's got a bit of pace and skill about him. He's just basically replacing someone for the right. But in the beginning part of the season, we were after Patrick Kluivert's son. We was after him.
Well, it's like I was sitting here, look, with this squad, I think nothing's too bad with it. It's just, if we're going to play this, we need another CAM. We need to replace Ozil. Because apart from Willett, there's not much else. Because Danny Ceballos ain't going to go in there.
No, I don't know with this Ceballos. Is he? Because I've been a rumor now. He wants to leave.
He's a deep playmaking midfielder.
What's Ceballos?
He's not Ceballos centre forward.
No, not Ceballos. Saliba, sorry. Saliba I'm on about.
What, Saliba?
Yeah, apparently I read that he wants to leave.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm not surprised. I mean, he's seen Fofana doing what he's doing for Leicester. He's doing bits for Leicester. But you're not doing that for Arsenal.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. Neves has got a hell of a strike on him. Willian, he's not really a flop because he was a freebie anyway, but I thought he was a good addition as squad depth. I didn't think anything more than that. But I think.
I mean, with that, nobody's looking at it, but I looked at it when we signed Willian. I know he's a year older than him, but do you remember when we got rid of Ramsey? And then we got Willian this season. It's an addition to that because Ramsey was a good attacking midfielder, exactly the same thing as Willian. So
we all said we were going to question Emery whether that was the right decision or not.
What, bringing Willian in?
See, look, I mean, Ramsey would have fit right in there with Willock, where Willock is, right?
Yeah.
He's really struggling with creativity on that. Yeah. And I would have given Ramsey another contract, and especially the fact that his attitude towards the end of his time at Arsenal was exceptional. And he could have been an option in as a number 10 behind Aubameyang.
Yeah, true, but I think he wanted to go. He wanted to go off and explore
Yeah,
different
so
options and win trophies.
in that case, then, as this is where I get the Uncle Ozil, is because we can't do anything and we can't sell him, right? We can't get rid of him, and we can't then use any money until he goes. We can't spend anyone to replace him. So basically, we're paying his wages for a week for him to just sit there and fuck the club over, right? Because we can't get a replacement in because we can't afford it at the minute until he fucking goes.
Exactly. I
Because
tell you
our
what.
board, but then again, you can't really have a go at him for a board that ain't got the bollocks to just say, boom, buy,
Yeah.
70 million, off you go. Go
Yeah.
live a happy life. If he really wants, I'll pack his bag, all right, and drive him fucking to the airport, even though I'm not supposed to be driving.
But who would you have?
What?
Who would you have in the squad? Who would you have in the squad when Ozil's finally gone? Who would you have?
Who would I have in the squad? That would be a good question. I probably might have to raise it on the part of the pressure because anything off the top of my head. So you actually have to write. I have to write things down. You see, so, because I mean, do you know what? I can't think of anyone at the minute. And if I did, and I actually did my research, I would definitely have a mention of someone. I know there's players out there, but they just my calligraphy just really plays with us, so I can't think. But then, actually, then wouldn't I do? I would actually then also might do this. So if I just add this back into the stream, right,
Yeah.
is change Willock for
Martinelli or
not Martinelli because he's on the left. Right, where is he? Can't think. Where is he? Jesus, you can never find him when you need to.
not that Smith Rowe, is it?
No, it's the why don't we play Willian? Why not Willian in the centre?
But yeah, that's how I would play it. The Bamyang up front, Willian
There you go.
just behind him, with Saka on the left and Pepe on the right.
There you go. So then you got so Willian's in the centre.
Yeah. And you got
Why not do it like that?
Yeah.
And then you could put and then my ultimate team would be Saka. I think Saka and Martinelli would be fighting each other, right? Unless he was going to do it like a 4-4-2 and play maybe Martinelli behind Aubameyang or something. I don't know, but Saka would be fighting with yeah. Yeah, so
We've got
Martin,
Maitland Niles down here, aren't we?
yeah, make the Niles down there. Wow, the bloody adverts. It's always the way, isn't it? It's blood. Oh no.
Yeah. But listen, people say about with that Saka, playing him like left back. Saka is not a defender for me. He's a midfielder. He's creative. You've got to let him go on his runs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He reminds you. I tell you who Saka reminds you of. Oh, who he reminds me of? is years ago, David Rocastle. When Rocastle used to go on his runs, Saka's exactly the same.
Yeah, that's a good shout actually. So yeah, that's what you're looking at now.
Yeah. I think Martinelli would be a goal scorer, but I think he's more your he could be like your goal scoring and creator. So if Willian was ever injured or you left Willian out of the team, I think you could play Martinelli there. So you play Pepe, Martinelli, and Saka with Aubameyang up front.
Dan,
I think you could
look,
play.
if you want to come and banter us, mate, you're welcome to come on the channel. I mean, I know you're a Spurs fan, you ain't gonna last 5 seconds, but right, you can always jump on, right? Right, the link's in the description.
That's Ceballos. Can you see him at Arsenal next season? I don't think we'll loan him again.
No, I don't
No.
think we will.
No.
Then Partey, well then if you're playing then, Partey and Xhaka would be okay.
Yeah. And I think
Right,
they might keep
Partey,
Elneny.
yeah, or Elneny. I mean, he's
Yeah.
been good, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say he's been world class and he's got a long way to go to prove himself that, but for the teams apart from yesterday, he was doing okay.
That's right,
Especially
yeah.
with Partey.
Yeah. And especially with this formation you got here, because that's the squad that I would play. But it's like that Kudinese. You couldn't play Kudinese in the middle there because I find with him he's a box to box player. You know what I mean?
Mm.
He's a box
Yeah.
to box. So there won't be any room or a rule in there for him. Nowhere near.
But anyway, I think we got half the pressure over for the England game on Wednesday. I still got to think of what to think of. Probably pressure the two managers, Arteta and Solskjaer. Right?
Well,
Think
in
of
the
any other
moment,
manager
yeah.
that's under pressure. Maybe Sean Dyche.
Sean Dyche, yeah.
Right?
Sean
We could probably
Dyche,
go through who's like debated between who's better out of Xhaka and Solskjaer at the minute. I ain't bantering. I'm simply just stating a fact.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think, to be honest with you, I think, because don't get me wrong, Arsenal are a big club, but at the moment, obviously, Man United are even bigger if you go back on history. I think Arteta would be Ole would be gone before Arteta if Arsenal do decide to get rid of him at the end of the day. I think Ole Gunnar would be gone.
Mm.
But whether they're going to give him one more, like, in the January, in the transfer window, whether they're going to give him one more window and see what players he'll bring in. But you know what I mean?
Trust me, and Anthony, to be honest, I think they're going to stick with this no matter what.
Yeah.
So I think we're stuck, to be honest. And if we're stuck, I'm always one that's like trying to not moan about things if I can't do anything about it and not worry about it.
Yeah.
Like, because if I
think,
did that, my life would be even more miserable because the amount of things I've got to worry about.
yeah. I would like to see a good, strong, even if we just made one signing in January, a centre back, just a good, strong centre back. And I think, I mean, if it's like your squad there, you look at it, you're right attacking wise, aren't you? And in the middle of the park here,
yeah.
you're not.
To be
You're not
honest,
really too bad.
we've got. I think Gabriel and Lav Louise. To be honest, even if it was Gabriel and one of the defenders, right?
Yeah.
I don't. Even Mustafi at one point was doing half decent, right?
Mm.
So mine would be more here in this is where Willock is.
Yeah.
So that's where my issue would be. Either that or someone that's creative next to Partey.
Yeah.
That could be deep but creative. Because Partey, let's face it, can't do it on his own. Right?
No, he can't do it on his own. No.
I'm not saying he is an amazing talent, what I've seen so far. Right? I can't wait for the fans back in the stadium, and I hope the fucking vaccine's true. I hate it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because apparently I've heard on the news that they're going to deliver it for about 20 million people here. I don't know, but if that's the case, give me a jab. I really want. I'd happily do it, but realistic. Okay. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna chill for a bit before I sleep. Right.
All right, Steve. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Grant. Nice to see you on the channel, and hopefully we can get you back on soon. My next stream's on Wednesday, and we'll probably have a debate about like the biggest problems with managers at the minute in the Premier League. Who's under pressure? Who's not? Anthony, as always, thank you for coming on.
That's right, mate.
Thanks to everyone in the chat, and yeah, and you can check us out on Wednesday with the Hot Off the Press show, and then Thursday. Thursday is England versus Ireland in a friendly. So yeah, stay tuned to see how that goes.
That's going to be happening this
there will be a new show on Friday, which will be the Checkered Flag show. Since I have a new show for football, I'm doing one for F1 as well. So it'll be talk about all things F1 wise in that. So if anyone's interested, make sure to check that out. Until then, thanks guys for coming on, and I will speak to you all very soon. Take care.
All right, Steve.
Cheers, mate.